Welcome back, everybody. Fred Dreyer, your host, sitting in behind the mic as we dive bomb the pernicious peddlers of the pornographic politic. My guest today,
Can I be your co-pilot today?
You are my co-pilot.
Okay, cool. I like that.
I'm gonna have to get you a hat that your dad wears.
And wings. I need wings.
Wings for XR71 Blackbird, and Jennifer Horn is with us, and yes, the same Jennifer Horn of the same genetic predisposition.
But don't hold it against me.
Daughter of Father Mike. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we're talking about Ron Paul, and the interesting thing is that, let me ask you something.
Yes.
And I always like to ask the women's side of these things. If Ron Paul is your husband or your father or whoever it is, don't you tell him to get a coat that fits?
I know. I feel bad. I think he needs an image consultant because he always just looks
terrible.
Ill-fitted. And
how do you run for president and allow that to go on camera?
I know. I feel like he should have bedroom slippers on and he should kind of shuffle out. And just,
no, he looks like somebody has just wiped egg off his face.
I know.
And they pushed him out into the hallway and he shuffled down to talk to us in a loony bin.
I know. And like I told you, Ron Paul, some of his stuff is not so bad. His main idea, less government, I'm all for it. But some of these ideas that he has, and you're right, the way he looks, it's just a little frightening.
Well, first of all, not only is idea scrambled,
yeah,
his clothing makes it even worse. It's worse.
I know.
If he was tuned and it came out all and put together.
You have to look at the machine. Romney is a machine. Romney looks presidential. He doesn't even have to open his mouth. He looks like a president.
Yeah, he's
Herman Cain, the same thing. He always looked great.
Sure, but what you have is just this old timer who is so radically wrong. It's when you're that radical, people are on the left are always calling to the right, the radical right. Well, wait a minute, the radical right is trying to get back home.
Yeah,
they're trying to get back to the Constitution. So that's a liberal government epithet that is used to manipulate people who really can't think for themselves, who think politically.
Right.
Once you think politically, you're finished, and so you don't have a chance of saving yourself. You're investing in a politic, and when you listen to Ron Paul and you're watching Ron Paul, which is worse. I don't know which is worse, watching and listening, or listening.
I think all the debaters want to stand next to him because they make him look better. Don't you think? Well, Newt looks hot standing next to Ron Paul.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. Well, you're a woman. You can get away with saying that. I'm not going to say Newt looks hot about anything. But I think Newt might have the best hair.
Very nice, always in place.
All of them. Romney's okay.
What about Michelle Bachmann? You're a guy. What do you think about Michelle?
I like Michelle. I want to like her more than I do.
Mm-hmm. I just said that today to someone, by the way.
You know what it is? Did you?
I did. I said I want to like her more than I do. I wouldn't vote for her, but I like her.
Yeah. See, I want her to supply the cookies for the meal. I don't want her cooking the meal.
Cooking the meal. I gotcha.
I want her to be in the room. I want her effervescence.
Mm-hmm.
I want her conservatism.
Yes.
I think she and I think it's safe to say she and Santorum are the true conservatives.
I agree with you.
I think she talks more about the intricacies of what conservatism is. I've got this thing. Your dad and I talked about this, but I have this thing. I'm really frustrated and angry that. Our leaders refuse to talk about conservatism. It's one thing to talk about why the car needs new shock absorbers or why they blew out the transmission. Those are problem solving. Those are things that someone can come in and point to and say, but the shocks are gone and the transmission's gone and we got a howling coming out of the rear end. Okay, we're going to fix those. I'm best at fixing those because I fixed them before.
Right.
It's another thing to talk about the philosophy of taking care of a car and how to drive it.
How to drive the car? Absolutely.
It's another thing, and I think Michelle and Santorum do that better than anybody.
What about Huntsman?
A Huntsman is really I like his family, but I don't think that I think there's a there's just a disconnect there with people. I think for me, it's I don't I want him to be at the party. I don't want him cooking.
Right. You don't want him leading the party.
Yeah, I don't want him. I don't want
He
him.
can be there.
Marinating my salmon.
Isn't it's interesting that this election cycle has been, I mean, it's seen so many people hit front runner status. You started with Romney,
Right.
then everybody thought Perry was going to be it. He was kind of a disappointment. No one even mentions Rick Perry anymore.
No.
And then you had Herman Cain. Everybody was on the Cain train.
Yeah.
Then that derailed.
Yeah, I was never there.
I know. I actually was. I was on the Cain train
Yeah,
for a little
many
bit.
people were.
Then Gingrich.
For the right reason.
Yeah, and then Romney, and now Ron Paul. What do you think is really going to happen next week in Iowa? And will it matter? Because remember, last time Huckabee won,
Right.
and that didn't work out so well.
Well, what's happening to Iowa, and they got to fix this, truthfully. This is getting to be so redundant and so clear that whoever wins, that the people, the opinions in the caucus of the first primary in Iowa means nothing.
Yeah.
But here's what's interesting.
We think it does, though.
Here's what's interesting.
Yes.
Last year or 3 years ago, I think it was 3 years ago now, Barry surprised everybody,
That's right.
didn't he?
He sure did.
That same group of people that put Barry up on the billboard
Yep.
is doing the same thing to Ron Paul.
To Ron Paul.
It's the
yeah.
same group of people.
You think so?
It's the same group of people.
So, do you think this is good for him then? Do you think he'll be the Cinderella story?
Well, if he is, it won't make any difference. They'll say he'll get some big publicity out of it. He'll He'll be able to go on the lecture tour, write some books, and
Right.
buy more bad clothing, and show up.
On sale, probably,
with
somewhere.
that turkey neck he has sticking out of those real bad Van Heusen shirts.
Yeah.
And J.C. Penney, these really one size fits all type of a shirt. and saturate us with more idiocy, and so.
But do you like him?
Yeah, I'm voting for him. But I've got to get. He would do great. He could raise some money for us if he just took a picture of himself with that dumb look on his face and that crazy jacket. He could plaster that all over his shirt like they would down at the drag strip. With your favorite racer on the front of it.
It's the PM show with Fred Dreyer. We're coming back with more on CRN Digital Talk Radio.